Public Schools, Wednesday, September 24th, 2025, 3 p.m. daylight savings time. I'd like to welcome everybody here. With that, we'll move to item 2, the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand if you wish. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. With that, turn it over to Rick. Public comment?
We have no public comment today, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. With that, we'll move to item 4, administrative reports. Anything from the directors?
I'm going to introduce. Okay, so the first thing I would like to do is acknowledge and recognize our Hibbing tennis coach, Gary Conda. I saw last night that he is in the middle of his 49th season of coaching. I'm not sure how that's possible, but 49. And so, I mean, Gary's just, I think, and being a parent of a former athlete of his, he is just a wonderful person and role model and mentor, and we're lucky. He not only does that, but gives a lot of his time at the Memorial Building and to Mary Beth too for all they do for our school. So kudos to Gary, and they're playing today, so.
Thank you.
So I know we didn't have any public comment, but did you have any update on our last meeting's public comment? We had a parent regarding special ed, and it sounded like there was going to be a meeting with Nathan and his team on how that went.
I had met with, I called her the next day and answered her questions. I have not heard back from her. I know they had their meeting last Monday, so I'm assuming.
The news is good news.
I told her to call me if she needed more assistance, and I think things were resolved.
Okay, thank you.
Very good, thank you. With that, we'll move to the student director. Would you like to-
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I'm excited. We got a new student director here today. Is it Sam, or do you like Sam?
Sam.
Sam, okay, it's Sam Hardy. And why don't you introduce yourself and
Yeah.
just tell us a little bit about
Hi.
yourself, Sam?
Yeah, in case you don't know who I am already, I'm Sam Hardy. You might know my dad, he's been in education for 33 years. But a little bit about me, I've been am involved with the band here, orchestra, key club, and most recently, we've just started a business club through Carrie Fox, great person. We drew in about 20 people, so hey, we got some great things starting up here. So some things that hopefully I can do. I told all the teachers, by the way, be my eyes and ears. I'm the new student rep, so give me some concerns. I was gonna do it a couple days ago, but I decided to just hold off just a little longer. I'm gonna send out a Schoology report asking the concerns for students to see if they would like some change, if anything's going on. But just settle in, because I know the phones were a big thing, but just let them get used to it. Another thing, I've been invited to attend the student council meetings, and they have a board meeting the first Wednesday of every month. So I will go in, they'll tell me stuff, and I'll report to you guys.
Perfect.
And that's not it.
Perfect.
Very nice.
Thank you, Sam. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, with that, administrators?
We do not have any administrative reports today, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Item C, committee reports. Nothing there. With that, we'll move to item 5, motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
Moved by Director Polter, supported by Director Christie. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you. With that, we'll move to item 6, a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Moved by Director Polter, supported by Director Egan. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Ladies first.
Ladies first.
Okay.
You're
I
better
just
looking.
had a question on the check register and bank bills here. There are 2 payments being made, I wanna say it's to Anderson Sound Company. I was just curious of what company, like, what does that company do for us? I just noticed that this is pretty large, expense, so I was just curious what they did for us. It's on the very top page of page 2.
Anderson Sound Company. What I'm guessing is that probably has something to do with the wiring at Greenhaven for sound, for the, like, teachers have mics that they wear for sound. I don't know, I'm guessing that's what it would be. What do you think, Alex? Probably.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know off the top of my head, but I can look and send out to the board.
The other piece I know is we replaced the intercom system here over the summer in the high school. And that could have been the company that we used.
Sure.
But I'll find out for sure, either way.
Okay, yeah, if you could, I mean, that's, okay,
Yes,
just-
I will,
that one
I
popped
will.
out, so,
And that's not a name that I recognize either, that
Yeah.
we've ever, so.
I think are they out of Duluth and Grayson Sound Company? I feel like they are.
But I'll find you the answer, absolutely.
thank you.
Any further discussion?
I have a question on, I see we have a lot of resignations for coaches. Are we refilling those positions or are we doing
Yes,
okay?
yes. Had a number of postings just here this week. We're still trying to find some basketball position.
Yeah.
Maybe a cheer was something I saw recently. But yes, I know he's worked a little bit and it created a little bit of confusion. James has worked with some of our booster groups to try to increase some of those booster paid positions, but we're still filling the roles that are ours, the Bs and the C teams and the JV coaches. We're still filling all of those. It'll probably be most likely more lower level stuff, more of the volunteer type positions and helping positions. But yes, these would be filled, absolutely.
So this head B team football coach is a position that is funded by the school district?
Correct.
Okay. And will we get a list and accept the hiring of coaches that are being reimbursed by the booster club so they can go through our hiring process?
They should, well, I was gonna say, they should still go through the review process, that we set up, whether it's them paying or us paying the individual.
Well, I know they're definitely backgrounded, right?
Right.
That'll happen through
Yeah.
us. Are you saying that just do you want to take those in and accept them, like at the beginning of seasons, or how do you, I don't know that we talked through that.
I think we should.
Okay.
I mean, because otherwise, if they're not formally hired by us, are they covered by our insurance?
They would be, like, so what we've done in the past is we've done the dollar contracts, right? Where then they are covered under our liability insurance.
So do we have to approve the contract?
We have in the past.
I guess
Yep.
I would like to know who our coaches are. I mean, because they're with our athletes, and unless we see a list of coaches, and I guess over the course of the last few years, from time to time, we have been provided with a list of coaches. I feel like more that was maybe when Megan was the athletic director, but just to see who's with the kids and maybe star off who the community volunteers are, or which ones are gonna be reimbursed by the booster clubs.
We do have that document. I can get you access or get you copies of that. But that is something that Trini keeps in the office with James, just to double check, so absolutely.
And I'm just gonna say it at the table, because I've said it at other places, I am extremely concerned about the open boys basketball positions. But they have been posted and reposted for a few months now, and I am extremely concerned, because at the end of the day, it's our program, and I think we need to make sure that there's quality coaches for our students.
Yeah.
And I completely respect a head coach's opportunity to bring their own coaching staff, but I encourage people to apply through the formal application system, because they are our coaches and they are our kids, and it is our program.
Well, I will find that list, what we're doing, and then I'll talk with James about bringing them timely as season starts, so we know. And you might not have it all in place, you might say, I've got a hole here or a hole here, but you should have a good start on that list before the season starts that we can share, if that's what you're looking for, if that's,
Yeah,
yeah, okay,
I just wanna make sure the background check is done.
absolutely, yep, yep.
well, and I don't know if it manages our risk, you know, when we say, well, we do a dollar contract. But would it put us on more solid footing if there was ever a situation where whether insurance companies or whoever meant to be able to question it, if it went through the board process of hiring, just like our other employees do? Would it take some of that gray space out?
Yes, it would, right?
I think it would.
Yep, it would. I'm thinking like in practice, what does that look like? You know, I know he's still filling some positions in the fall. You know, now, at the end of September, they're still coming and going with staff, so it would definitely be fluid. But I think we can get a snapshot at the beginning of the season, see where we're at, and then bring those as the positions come, if they came to the board or approved. Yeah,
I think like
it's a good idea.
the lady from MSBA described, the booster club comes forward and says, we'd like a goalie coach for the hockey team that's not paid for by the district, and we're going to fund that, and whoever they get, then it goes through the formal position,
Yep.
acceptance, or
Yep.
placement, and then they reimburse the school, and we cut them a check, and we get their W-2s or 1099s, and they do their background checks.
Yep. We'll do.
Very good.
I have one more, notice on here, we have the approval of, you know, we're bringing back a lot of pupil support assistance.
Yes.
I just wondered, you know, we had talked about it at the last meeting, I'm just wondering if you could just kind of verify, so when the public sees the number of people that we're bringing back, being that we released from teachers, or the money from that is coming from.
Sure.
Okay.
So, and you're talking specifically about the PSAs?
Yes.
Okay. So, all of these PSA recalls that we have, these were individuals that were laid off last spring. There's 7 in total. We laid off closer to 15, I believe, in the spring. So it's about half of those, a little less than half of the individuals that we laid off. And it's all driven by IEPs. So again, we've had, SPED staff has had those meetings. Mr. Lutzka has worked, met with parents. I think as of today, who were in the district, students that are in the districts were covered. Any new move-in, you know, any new identified need, then we would still continue to work off that recall list for PSAs. They get to hold recall rights for 4 years under this process. So most folks, I think at some time, if they wanted to come back, they'd have that opportunity here sooner or later. But yes, it's driven by IEPs. It's requirement, if that's what you're asking, Mike, that we fill these positions. And I think, yes, we've had some comments from parents, and we were working through that in that first week of school, but I think the dust has settled and we know where we're at, and I think we're staffed and where we need to be. Does that answer your question? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
it does.
Okay.
Maybe it kind of goes back to what we had talked about, maybe it's something a little bit different, but we have a Spanish student now that we have to hire an individual, and I'm sure it's not the only one we're gonna have as we look into the future. So how are we gonna be able to afford, you know, more individuals to help those students?
So we do get, and it is based on your population, we do get some state aid for English language learners. I think it's about $5,000 is what our allotment is this year. And so to cover the tutoring that we're doing this year. We have had this position in the past. Every year that I've been here, except for maybe one in the last 7 years, we've had an ELL instructor. Somebody is identified in some shape or form as needing support. This is a little bit different. Some of these students don't speak any English, and we're still trying to find our way in what that looks like. Looks like we'll be screening another student in a similar situation that doesn't speak English here, that would be coming into kindergarten next year. So yes, it's, I think,
Something
our
we need to
community,
work
our community's changing a little bit, and we're gonna have to step up and support those kids, so, yes.
And if I counted correctly on these pupil support assistant positions, I think we were going to hire 7, and it looks like there are 2 resignations.
Yep.
But I think we hired 8, so I think we're still 1 less than we anticipated, maybe, at least on this agenda.
And then one of the 8 is more of a resource room position, unless you didn't count that one in, Kim, I'm sorry, that's a 15-week position. That person was released, was non-renewed, was laid off and brought back. But I think in the swap and retirements, I thought the number was 7 when we looked at it earlier this week.
Yeah, no, I did not count, I did not include the
I was lumping them all in because they're in the same bargaining group and the same,
Oh.
yeah.
yeah.
We hired 8, according to this.
Yes, and one is not a PSA one-to-one with the student, one is more of a resource room. Students are coming to her.
Yeah,
rather than-
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
M is the resource room supervisor.
Yep.
And then N through U are the support assistant, so that would be 8,
Okay,
correct?
okay.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, the only other thing is that we had the resignation of Joyce, I don't want to say her name correctly, Toinian. So I took, 8 coming in, 1 going out, 7 is where I got my second. Yes.
And I don't know if I did it right on my sheet, but I took 13,000 as a further deficit. I added it to our negative fund balance. I don't know if we have to do that completely, but if you got an email with 13,000 for
For
the,
the pupil, or for the resource,
yep,
yes, absolutely. Good.
Okay, good discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. With that, we'll move to item 7, administrative business. Sir Alex,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
you're welcome.
Item A is a motion to approve the resolution for donations, and they consist of $3,500 from the estate of Arlene McDonald to support the 2025-2026 second grade teachers' classroom supplies, $2,000 from an anonymous donor to support the varsity and JV boys soccer teams, $1,000 from Splash Express to support the athletic department, $100 from Jennifer Janisich, $100 from Karen Jan Bach, $50 from Jennifer Munson, $25 from Scarlett Koski, $155 from an anonymous donor to support the varsity and JV boys soccer teams, and $1,577.25 from the track and field boosters to support the purchase of pole vault poles.
so
Support.
Moved by Director Kim and supported by Director Jeff. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
Item B is a motion to approve the 2025 payable 2026 proposed levy with maximum authority.
So moved.
I support.
Moved by Director Kim and supported by Director Christine. Any discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Aldrich, you had sent us an email, and for this item, the comment was, that we can set it at the max, but will adjust before final approval later this fall. Alex is confident that we will propose a minimum increase, a 0 increase, or potentially a decrease in the final level approval. So what determines what we actually do in that case of those options that you mentioned with Alex?
Do you want to talk through it? I mean, and I can just say, like, generally, so we work hand in hand with Art. Art really helps support all the levy work in our area. And a lot of that is like going back and forth with the state, just making sure that those numbers are aligned. So just, again, in 3 or 4 days, something changed a little bit yesterday, that Alex had been working with Jennifer and going back and forth with the state, so. And that's the idea here again, is that it puts people on notice that we're looking at the levy, but there is still time to make those adjustments. And we are still looking at very little increase and potentially a negative, possibly. So why don't you just, maybe the process a little bit.
Yeah, so
For the public, see what ARC is to us.
Arrowhead Regional Computing Consortium, they are finance and payroll support.
Thank you.
As far as what we're approving tonight, this is just the board signaling what their authority is for the levy. So we'll still work through the numbers through the fall. The reason that it's negative is because of that debt that is expiring in January. But there was an adjustment negative 2 years ago that we might have to add back on. We're still working through that a little bit. Other things that we have the power to change is levy for our OPEB and some community ed items. But otherwise, it's pretty much formulas that the state generates.
And we've, since we've been here, or since I've been here, 7 years, I don't believe that we've had a scenario where we thought that it was going to be zero or less than zero, right? We've always been trying to find ways to pare it down, is what we were doing. Yes, and Alex is saying that the debt that's expiring in January, that also is that same debt that's expiring that helps with our referendum. If people were interested in voting yes in the referendum, some of that debt will be coming off in January. But yes, I think there's been a lot of levy discussion in the community, in the area, because some levies are proposing, like the county's levy is a high number that they're looking. And I know that people are anxious about taxes and levies, but we want to be clear that ours looks to be very minimal, if not, I hate to promise less than zero, but it looks at this time as it could potentially be a small reduction. Yep.
Yeah. But this is just declaring that we're not going to under levy. If we didn't want to get all of our LTFM dollars, we could declare that, and then this wouldn't say maximum, but I just want the full authority.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you.
Item C is a motion to approve the holding of the election public accuracy test on October 14th, 2025 at 1:00 p.m. in the high school boardroom.
Moved by Director Polter, supported by Director Christine. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you.
And item D is a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between ISD number 701 and Arrowhead Head Start from July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026.
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Director Sarah, supported by Director Kim. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you. With that, we'll move to item 8, discussion items. Turn that over to Superintendent Rick.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome.
Just want to give you a little update that our early voting has started. It was last Friday, was our first day. We've had a number of people come in and vote. You can come right to door number 12 at the high school. Any day that
You get an eye voting.
they provide voting stickers. You come to the high school any day that we're in session, from between 8 and 3. We would even, if people have trouble getting to the door, we would make that accommodation. You could vote from your car. I assume they'd have to call, or they'd have to somehow let us know that they would need some assistance. And then we've got 2 spots that we can vote. There's one at door 12, and then Alex also has a polling station here in the business office if we get overflow. So we've had people in both offices and a number of people vote. Had a number of more appearances and different informational sessions that we've attended. We had the ADK group last week here at the high school that we met with, and it's a group of retired teachers from our area, not just Hibbing teachers, but children teachers and Nashwauk teachers from our area. they asked some nice questions at our meeting, and then it was shared with me afterwards that they put out a Facebook post and a release that all of them in a picture supporting our referendum. So I thought that was very nice of them to do. We've got some other events coming up here soon. Next week, I'll be doing a show at HPAT, doing a presentation on the referendum, and we've been working with Ron to try to get that presentation then to run after the show, maybe separate or part of the show. I don't know how we're gonna do that, but that was the issue. He had some technical issues, and now he's got the equipment, I think, to make that work. I have a chamber event coming up in early October where we'll be meeting with the chamber board. What other events am I thinking I'm missing, Alex? Anything I'm missing?
I think so.
I got a little flyer in the mail yesterday, brought in here, so I think these things are nice to be receiving. Because if you're not on social media, if you don't have kids in the district, if you don't get the paper, this is a nice way to reach some of our community members to make, them aware of what's happening and what's out there and things like that. So I thought that was really nice.
And I received that one yesterday too, and that's from our Vote Yes committee. So that's a separate organization that they made the decision to send that flyer out. But yes, there'll be a mailing coming. What will we have, Alex? There'll be 2 mailings coming from the district, correct? Between now and the election, similar type flyers.
Yeah,
And one of them is required, right? It's illegal.
Yes,
mailing.
yes. Yep.
Alex, I know that you answered my question for somebody I got contacted by, but could you just kind of explain how the whole voting works? I think there is some concern of what does that look like? I was contacted, I've seen some things on social media, people are a little bit concerned of, early voting at the school, what does that look like? Or, it's not at all of the sites, it's strictly at the armory. But I thought the information that you had sent me via email, it really described it well, and I think it would help community members have a better understanding of what all this, what it looks like, the process of it.
Sure.
the process is if someone comes down to door 12, the high school office, or into the business office, we both have a special designated computer with a database of every voter in the state. And so what we'll do is go in, find that voter, verify their address, birth date, social security number, driver's license. Everything looks good. There's a label printer that prints a label with a barcode, and that's what we put on the ballot envelope. And that verifies that nobody can vote more than once. So we have a locked middle box in the office that, once it's all filled out, they drop it in. And every day after voting is done, we take the ballots out of the box, put them back in the safe, and they wait until every 2 weeks or 10 days, a panel of an independent, a Republican, and a Democrat will come, election judges will come and open the outside envelope with the names on it, and basically sign off that this is a valid ballot, and they'll agree on that, and then what's left is the unmarked ballot, no names on it. So we'll keep those locked up, and then the Saturday before the election judges will come and run through the machine after our public accuracy test. And then on election day, that's going to be governed by the same bipartisan panel, and they'll process those ballots as well. Does that help?
Yeah, and I just think it's good to say that out loud, because I think there's some misconception of what this looks like, and how that's done, especially when, it's for the school. This right now, it's at the school, even though that isn't anything new, but some people are questioning that. So I think it's just good to say it out loud and let people know what that looks like, so I think that's helpful, so thanks.
But people can also apply to get an absentee ballot, correct?
Correct.
And then the ballot would be mailed to them like an absentee ballot.
And
So
we
if they
had,
don't want to come to the school.
we had 200, maybe?
Over 300 that were like
That we
permanent
mailed out.
absentee voters that we decided to watch.
And the reason we're only voting at the Armory is because we would have to pay the costs, the full cost of having election judges and all the costs associated with each polling place. And so, a while ago, I believe the board adopted a resolution that if we ever had a special election, either to fill a spot or to do a referendum in a non-voting year, that it would be reduced to one site simply because of the cost. So that's why it's just one site, to try to reduce costs.
One thing, just for you, for the public too, and for, I think, us here at the school, I'm just surprised on how labor intensive early voting is. I mean, like Alex said, the checking the address, the verifying with, the other day when I went and voted, because I live in French Township, but I was here in Hibbing proper, it bounced back that I wasn't a registered voter. So they had to call somebody down at the Duluth office, at the county office, dig in a little bit. I'm glad it happened to me and not one of our patrons or somebody from the public coming in. So now that won't be an issue if somebody comes from Janet Lake or a township out of Hibbing proper. They're not going to run into that hiccup because we solved it. But it's very eye-opening how secure the process is, but how just labor intensive the process is. It's a lot of time involved.
Yeah, and we haven't, it's been smooth since then. And
Right.
shout out to Sibley and Bobby and Pam and Kathy and Jamie. I mean, they've been so wonderful in helping process ballots, so we appreciate that.
The awesome thing is, I just, to give all of those folks here in your office, and Bobby especially, I've heard probably about half a dozen times, what a nice secretary you have at door number 12. Like, she's so positive, she's so friendly, like, she deserves a pat on the back for that, because she is. She's a great representative when you walk in that door. So. And you're in a business office too. I've got a few more comments from.
Bobby's wonderful.
Yes.
So if a person is a non-registered voter and they can register to vote, can we sign them up to vote here? Do we have that authority? Okay.
We haven't had any yet.
No,
They
they
have
have
to
to
be
have a
a
witness
Yep,
and stuff, but yes, Candy from the city is
yep.
ready and waiting for someone to come so she can show us all that
Do
stuff.
they have to be a resident for any length of time?
That would be a question, do you know that?
I think it says it on the
It
ballot.
might say on the ballot, yeah, there's a
30
separate
days.
application
Yeah.
for them.
But there's a whole process to
Mhm.
register voters, and we can administer that process here.
Yep.
Okay.
We've been super fortunate that we've had Candy Sepulveda support from the city. Just someone that's knowledgeable and that works in elections every time they come up. She's been so helpful and so supportive. I've seen her here 3-4
Amazing.
times. She's
She's
been,
amazing.
probably a lot more that I haven't seen her, that she's
Yeah.
been helping out.
Behind the scenes, the folks at the county have been pretty wonderful too.
I agree. Yeah. Flexible, right? I mean, yes. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I have.
Thank you, Superintendent Rick.
Have we received many questions, for information through the website?
I haven't, and so that, they go in, when you open up our website and you scroll down, halfway down the page, and click and get into all of our referendum information, and then in there is a spot where you can ask a question, and all those questions come to me. I think I've received maybe 4 emails, 4 or 5 emails since we launched. I've had a couple, to be honest, some of them were just simple questions to answer, but some of them are much more complex, that it would take a long time to write a response. I just reached out to those folks and had conversations, and then we followed up with some other questions. It's all been very good. It's been a positive experience, so, yes.
Thank you. Mike?
Yeah, just one item, it's not on the agenda for today, but I want to make sure it's still out there on the table. Is our collaboration discussion with Chisholm, and we're kind of waiting, my understanding, for
They're gonna
them,
vote it on at the next meeting.
for them to decide what they want to do.
Right. Yes or no is just part of
Right,
it.
but I just want to make it known to the public that we are still considering it, even though it wasn't on the agenda for today. It'll be on a later date, and hopefully we can have an answer by then, what we're going to do.
So they did, Mr. Chair, I saw in the paper today that they did
They
vote
did?
on Monday. And I had sent an email to their board chair and their superintendent on Sunday and just said, hey, after your vote, please reach out, tell them what happened. They haven't been recording their meetings, so I haven't been able to go in and watch it. I haven't received a reply as of when I sent that message on Sunday, so I'm sure either they're crafting their response or waiting to respond, but they did unanimously vote. It was to begin collaboration talks with the Hibbing School District is how their motion was stated. So I'm just waiting to hear from them and what their next step is, and I don't want to push, but I was anxious to hear what, and I was hoping we'd jump in and start to do some work, but we'll see where it goes.
It's been talked about for 10 years, I mean, you know,
Longer than that.
let's get off the pot, let's,
20, 30
Yeah.
yeah, let's do something.
I think that was different than our conversation at the board, and as I know it, I have records back as far as 2017, when I have been participated in collaborative conversations, and I think it goes back at least as far as 1990. So when I saw that, I was a little confused by what it meant to begin collaborative conversations.
1994.
Maybe they were thinking the other word.
No, I clarified that, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. If nothing else, Director Polcher?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Without objection, the meeting's adjourned. I'd like to thank everyone in the audience for coming here and our home viewers. With that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
I adjourned.
Hibbing Public Access TV may be viewed on these platforms: hpat.org with video on demand, Mediacom Hibbing 802, 805, and 807. On Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Download the Hibbing Public Access TV app for your iPhone and Android devices. Find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Vimeo. For more information, scan the QR code and go to hpat.org. Hibbing Public Access Television would like to thank Mediacom for all the years they have supported our organization. Visit their office at 3105 East Beltline, Suite number 2 here in Hibbing, and give them a call at 855-633-4226. For over 25 years, U.S. Bank, located at 211 East Howard Street in Hibbing, Minnesota, has provided office and studio space for Hibbing Public Access Television. We are thankful for their ongoing support.